Oh no, it happened again. I know, right? It's like I'm actually disappointed by this. Stick around with me and let's unbox some plants. Hi, my name is Memo, this is my channel, Houseplantygoodness, and essentially it's a place where I like to geek out about my big passion. You might be able to see some of it behind me, and around me it's tropical houseplants. So yes, this is the reason why I should not be left unsupervised when GrowTropicals does Instagram ads. But there is a bit of backstory to this, and I'll start the unboxing in just a moment. I also ended up... I knew this was coming today. I had to go to the garden centre to get some Soil Ninja, because luckily my local garden centre sells Soil Ninja. And I needed the usual houseplant soil mix to do my moss poles. Anybody who still wants to know how I make my moss poles, I'll link it at the top there. However, I may have picked up a few garden plants. This is why you shouldn't do gardening as well as house plants, because there's even more plants to spend money on. I got something called false orange or fake orange or mock orange. I'll kind of put the name at the top there. If you're into your gardening and you have not experienced that yet, the smell is amazing. But neither here nor there. I did potentially go into the houseplant section, and I may have potentially bought 2 plants on top of the plants that I was already knowing that I was going to be arriving today. Self-control? Who is she? No. But yes, part of the reason why I got this, and I'm getting to the unboxing in just a second, is because I was planning on, I've been putting money aside for a long time, and I've had a list, and I was going to do another Ecuagenera order, and this might be a little bit of a baby rant. I'm not going to keep you for too long, but I kind of got my basket ready. I was going to get some orchids as well, and it said, you know what, if you want to get certain types of orchids, didn't necessarily mean that the ones that I was planning on getting were the problem, do please drop us an email and ask us, because there might be some regulations for the UK. And I'm just like, okay, so first time I'm ordering orchids, I want to do it properly. So I dropped them an email. No response. A few days go by. Follow up with another email going, did you receive my email? I didn't even get a holding email of kind of saying, yes, we got it, we'll come back to you in just a second. Nothing. A few more days go by. Still nothing. Send another email. Anything? No. Still a few days go by. No response at this point either. I then send a separate email to say, did it maybe end up in spam or anything like that? A few days go by, nothing. And I'm just like, I saw on their website, they're just like, they've got WhatsApp. And I'm just like, okay, fine, let's try the WhatsApp. So I messaged them and kind of said, look, these are the orchids. Also, any chance you can kind of let me know? I know your website says you do monthly shipments to the UK, when the next shipment is going to be, because I was doing it now so I can still get it in summer, so it's got enough time to acclimate before like the winter time. They do come back to me on the WhatsApp. Took them within 24 hours, which is fine. They were very apologetic. Sorry we missed your email. And I'm just like, okay. To find out that the orchids that I was trying to order was some of the orchids that had the issues, like as a maxillaria, so it's a bit like, it's related to my coconut orchids, which is a bit annoying. We can send it to you, but we need a minimum order of 20 of the same orchid. And I'm just like, not going to be doing that then. I might actually reach out to some of the people that I buy my orchids from over here and just say, are you going to be bringing anything like this in? Please keep me in mind. And I'll do it that way. The bigger thing about all this is just like, yes, our next shipment to the UK is the end of September. I'm like, it's the middle of June. You do monthly shipments, I'm assuming, to the UK, but they're still like months ahead. And I'm just like, you know what, no. Like, be clearer with people like this, where they're just like, yes, we're going to be sending stuff over to the UK every month, but there's still a 4 to 5 month lead time. I'm just like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I've missed the boat at this point. Obviously, if I would have done that, I would have needed to be ordering in like February time for the summer. So, ain't happening. But some of the plants that I wanted are in this box. So I thought, you know what? I've always had good experiences with GrowTropicals. Let's try. So I'm going to stop prattling on now. Let's do the unboxing. Let me grab a handy dandy secateurs. And let's do this. I'll leave the 2 plants that I got last from the garden centre. Sorry, that was a bit of a long intro. I would have hopefully have put a section where you can jump forward if you don't want to hear me bitch and moan. Because I appreciate that some people are just here for the unboxing and that's completely fine. Let's have a look. Oh. Interesting. Some of the plants that I was getting, I thought were going to be bigger. Some of the plants that I thought were going to be smaller are bigger. I'm okay with that. So let me, I'm not going to show you entirely, but they are like loads of little tubes. It might not seem like an awful lot, but let's see. Let's start with a plant that's relatively, I say relatively common. I don't think it is, because one of you lovely people, and I need to drop you a message actually to say that I found them on their website, because I know you lost your one recently and you really wanted to get it back, and I'm wondering if you reached out to them and maybe that's why they ended up restocking. But this is cool, and I didn't necessarily have this in mind until this lovely individual who has been watching me for a while on this channel and was one of the OG viewers from years back, had a message me to say, look, do you know anybody who's got this plant? Because I think something happened and she didn't have it anymore and she really wanted it back. So, and this looks like an entirely similar looking plant, part of the same family as well. Let me see if there's a packing slip, because usually there's a packing slip somewhere in here. No. I'll bring up my handy dandy phone and I will tell you the names and everything, because I don't want to like mess it up, and I'll kind of put prices on as well. I'll tell you prices as well. So actually no, I'll just put the prices at the top. It's going to be easier, because I realized every time I edit these videos I have to put the price on there anyway, because I want to be kind of as inclusive as possible for people that view me from America and put the $ on there as well. So, right, so first one is a Rhaphidophora, and this is very similar looking to a very famous Rhaphidophora, the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. Whoops, and rips. Ta-da! So, and you might look at this and just go, well, Memo, that is a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. No, this is a Rhaphidophora, and I'm going to get this wrong because I always want to say retusa. It's pertusa. And it looks very similar now, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Rhaphidophora can be quite challenging to get quite large. This one, as long as you give it something to climb on, can get huge, and it's got much more irregular kind of splits on the leaves. So I'm really looking forward to growing this, because if it's anything, and it might not be as easy to grow, I think the person was saying that it was relatively straightforward. If it's as easy to grow as the tetrasperma, great. And I've got a great space for this in my household, and I would imagine, in looking at it, it's very similar in feel to the tetrasperma. I would imagine that this will do really, really well in household conditions. So looking forward to growing this. Not a tetrasperma. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Shall we do another common-ish plant? And I used to have this plant, and I think I was talking about this on a video, or something reminded me about this on a previous video that I was doing, and I used to have this ages ago, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I killed it super fast. So you know what, I saw it come up and I'm just like, that was actually what instigated this whole purchase, was a very common plant. And this is related to, and I know this might be kind of traumatic for some people, because I know I've had exchanges with some of you on here. This is related to the spider plant. So this is chlorophytum. Chlorophytum, yes. I can never remember the like botanical name for the spider plant. But this is a much more interesting plant, at least in my humblest of opinions. And I'm hoping I'm going to be able to keep this happy this time around. I'm just ripping the plastic bag at the bottom, it's fine. For once, there's no need for a heat pack because it is so warm. Ah, yes, and it is as pretty as I remember it to be. And I'm really hoping this comes out as bright as it is in real life on camera. So, this is, I think it's called Fire Flash. I mean, look at it. If somebody told you that this was related, if you didn't know, I don't think you would necessarily guess that this was related to the spider plant. This is so stinking cool, and it's still as stinking cool as I remember it being. Oh, I promptly killed this off quite quickly. The one thing I will say that I learned back then, and I will try to do differently with this one, and not a lot of my plants get this form of treatment from me. This is 100%, even more so I think than the Calathea, generally. This kind of really does not like very hard water. It will get relatively substantial brown tips quite quickly. So it does not like kind of minerals and salts in the water. So at the moment I'm going to be watering it with rainwater, and after that literally the only other plant that gets kind of my reverse osmosis water are my carnivorous plants. So I usually have at least a couple of bottles lying around. I don't mind adding one plant to that rotation. So this is very cool. I think it's Fire Flash. Common plant. Common, this is an interesting thing because remember it's like rare plants. There are such a thing that, I don't know how to express it, which are common, as in like they will come out on the market on a relatively frequent basis, but they're not always there. So if you find one, grab one because you don't know when you're going to find one again. This is one of those. So really looking forward to growing this. This is such a happy, cheery plant. I mean, the orange, look at the orange. It is beautiful. But let me put this down. And let's move over to, I think the rest of them are all relatively difficult to find. Oh, there. Okay, so let's start with a plant that I am replacing because it's died off a while back and I wanted to find one of a relatively decent size because I know they do grow quite slow. This is a Hoya, by the way. So not the most exciting plant, but one that brought me so much joy when I was growing it, and I was truly disappointed when it kind of died on me. I don't even know what went wrong with this plant, but really happy to get it back into my collection. I will say for a Hoya, I found that this specific one grew like mad, really fast. So I'm hoping this will happen again. And it's a decent size. There's quite a few growing points in there. They had a smaller size as well. This is not going to look massively impressive currently. It will do when it's sun stressed. This, and it might not look like an awful lot, this is the Hoya Sunrise. So really looking forward to growing this Hoya Sunrise again. So let me just check. Yes, there is at least 2 growing points in here, which means I should be able to get this growing super nicely. So this one I am so glad to be reintroducing back into the collection, just because, as I said, it's not the most exciting thing. It sun stresses beautifully. It goes like a reddy kind of maroony color, but this grows like mad, crazy fast, and the blooms on this smell amazing. I think this is one of my favorite scents from Hoyas that you can get, and I don't think they're that difficult to find. Again, common, but it's hard to come by sometimes, if that makes sense, as a Hoya for this one. But yeah, the blooms on this are some of my favorites, closely followed by the Hoya linearis, which gets that really like citrusy smell. So yes, Hoya Sunrise. And then let's have a look. Right, let's get a replacement plant. So this is a replacement plant. This is one of the plants that I wanted to get from Ecuagenera. And I know it would have been slightly bigger and maybe a tiny bit cheaper. And this is another replacement plant actually. And this is one that really saddened me when it kind of died. And I don't know why, it was doing so well. This plant I also did a really favorable review for, that it was super easy. Actually no, I do know what went wrong. It went from semi-hydro, because I thought it was struggling in semi-hydro, into soil, and it hated life. So, top tip, I probably will keep this in semi-hydro. And this is a different variant, I think, of my plant. It's only one leaf at the moment, so wish me luck. Come on. Aha. There we go. No patience. People know, no. There we go. Whew. So this is, for the people that know, this is Anthurium erisamoides back in the collection. I'm so happy, and hopefully I don't kill this one. But yes, I think this is like the red stem one or something along those lines, because you might be able to kind of see it's kind of a maroony red. I wasn't that fussed, I just wanted an erisamoides back in my life because I enjoyed growing this like nobody's business. So, so looking forward to growing an erisamoides again. So yes, but this is gonna have to go into semi-hydro. I think it will love life in a bit of semi-hydro. I'm putting everything down there because don't have that much space. Okay. So what shall we go for next? I'm trying to remember my list as well here. Okay. Let's go for an unusual one, which I think most people wouldn't have heard of. I have never heard of it before. And this is another, yes, it's another Rhaphidophora. But I'm hoping that this one might be at the level of my Rhaphidophora hongkongensis, which they've also, I think, got back in stock at the moment. So, and I think they've got a variegated one as well, which I don't know why I didn't buy that. Ugh, no more plants for a while. Maybe. Watch me talk myself out of not buying plants. In real time as well. So this is a Rhaphidophora, and wow, this is the bigger size. I got the bigger size of the two, because the smaller one looked too small. This is still tiny. Right, let's have a look. Hopefully it will grow well, and it will grow fast. So, so much packing tape, but it should be okay. This is, where's the name? Cutting off, let's have a look. Because this is, so the erisamoides was red petiole, that was the affinity, red petiole. And this is the Rhaphidophora corthalcei, long velvet. This is a super cool plant, and this is part of the reason why I needed to get stuff for a moss pole, because you can already see that this is going to be a bit of a shingler. But this is beautiful. It doesn't look like a lot right now, but I think this has got a lot of potential to kind of grow leaves that go swooshy. Swooshy? Words. This is happening on midday on a Saturday. This is the level of chaos that is my life. But whilst I'm also, like, I was also half editing tomorrow's video drop, which is an, not unboxing, this is the unboxing. See what I mean? That is a repot with me. So hopefully you would have probably already seen that before you see this video. But this is super cool and super cute. But if you see it again, the swishing motions that I was saying kind of make sense. You can see that it's going to go flat, and then it does the swish, the swish. It's very cool. So hopefully this will grow well. I've had some good successes recently with Rhaphidophoras, so I'm just like, let's keep on going. So, two more last plants, and they are both Anthuriums. One is an Anthurium that I should have bought the larger size when they had it, because a lot of people did, but I just did not want to spend that kind of money. So you might already guess what this is, because I think everybody and their mother that's based over here has literally got a size of plants of this from them, considering how difficult these were to find a long time ago. I am curious to see if I'm going to end up killing this, because the plant that this originates from, I have famously said on this channel, is one of the few Anthuriums I cannot keep happy. So wish me luck. I don't know. Right. Okay, it's not as tiny as I thought there was going to be. So it's okay, it's okay. Try not to decapitate it, Nemo. There we go. So this is what? The Anthurium. It might not focus, possibly there. There, it might not be very obvious yet. I think this leaf kind of shows it a bit more than this one does. This is the Anthurium Delta Force. So I like the look of it. I've always liked the look of the Delta Force. I just did not like the prices when they first came on the market. I'm just like, oh no, I'm not paying that kind of money, but this kind of money, I'm all right with. And I mean, it's small. I would have liked, if I had more patience, which we all know I don't, I probably should have waited for another like year or two, maybe a year, and this would have probably, for the same price that I got this, I would have been able to get a slightly more established plant. But who knows? Let's see if this grows well. In all fairness, based on what people are saying, the Clarinervium, which is what this is kind of originating from, is a relatively fast grower, I think, as an Anthurium. So with any luck, this might do well. So anybody does have the Delta Force, congrats, especially if you've got a big one. Clarinervium, that is. Get your mind out of the gutter, Memo. This one is one that I'm curious to know from you, if you've grown it for a while, does it need a moss pole? I would assume no, because I never grew my Clarinervium on a moss pole. So let me know. I would be very much appreciating that. And the last one is a gift. And this is interesting because this is one of the plants I was gonna buy. But by the time I started adding things into the basket, they're just like, you get a free gift. And it was one of them. And I'm just like, great, I'm a still get the plant, but I don't have to pay for it. Considering how much I paid for everything else, that's a false economy, I think. But neither here nor there. It's okay. Right. And this is a plant that I wanted for a while, not for any particular reason, it's just because I know that this is one of the most commonly hybridized, or one parent plant for a lot of Anthurium crosses for a very long period of time. And I think even Jos mentioned it when we were having that conversation, that video, and again, I'll link it at the top if you've not seen my kind of interview with Jos, who is an Anthurium hybridizer. I know so many of us are so jealous of his job, but oh, such a lovely, lovely person as well. But, ooh, I never got the hype on this plant, and I kind of do now. Oh, this is interesting. It does not photograph well at all. It looks really plain on a photograph. I'm hoping it's going to look better on video. If it doesn't, take my word for it, this is very pretty. So, and I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting this to be a very mediocre looking Anthurium. This, and I'll bring it in a bit closer. Look at that unctuous darkness. There's a new leaf, and hopefully it hasn't been bashed around too much. It might survive without too many bruises. It is so velvety. It is so velvety. Sorry. Anthurium papillilaninum. Papillilaninum? I put the name. I can never say the damn name of this one, but the Anthurium papi has been hybridized with absolutely stinking everything, and I would imagine it's because it kind of lends itself well to pollination, either this one or pollinating another plant, or another Anthurium. Oh, this is so much cooler than I ever thought it was going to be. I just expected it to be a very kind of blah looking, kind of mediocre green Anthurium. And And this was difficult to find, and I don't know if it was difficult to find because there was too many people that were hybridizing from this, so there wasn't that many of them coming into the market as a species. And I was holding out for a species, which I think this is, rather than a species-ish or this hybridized or something else. I wanted the true thing, and I'm hoping this one is. I think that's what I bought. I bought the species, or gifted the species. Very, very, very cool. Really, really looking forward to growing this now. I wasn't expecting this. I really wasn't expecting it. Even when I was looking at it through the tube, I'm just like, still blah. Just like a bad memo trying to end on a bit of a blah plant. But I've got 2 more actually, so it's not the last one. But yeah, Anthurium papillilaninum. Hold on. It's going to bug me. Let's have a look at what it is. Anthurium papillilaminum. Yeah, papillilaminum. Papillilaminum. Tongue twister. I do like. Too many L's and R's and I's and right. Let's put this down. I'm trying to, the sounds that the grunting that you're hearing is me trying to move the radiator, which really I should remove entirely from this conservatory because it's so hot. Had the door open of the conservatory and both windows all day, it is still 28 degrees Celsius in here and it is still 70% humidity. And I've got all the fans blowing on me and I am like still overheating. Because apparently I'm like a perimenopausal woman. I've had hot flushes for the last 5 or 6 years. I don't know why. Right. That. Okay, let's have a look at the 2 plants that I picked up from the local garden centre today. And I wasn't expecting, sorry, I'm also checking to see if I've got another delivery coming. I don't think I do. So hopefully I won't get interrupted for the last bit. One is a succulent, and I love the little like thing, the little like, what's it called? It's like an ice cream stick. Ice cream stick, lolly stick, I don't know what it's called. This was really not bad. It was $6.99 for 5.5 centimeter pot. And I'm not going to take it out because it looks like it's been entrenched in there for a while. I've been wanting one of these for a very long time. And North, if you're watching this, I have finally got a Haworthia truncata. It's taken me forever. I know. So late to this game. But for the people that don't know, this is a very, very cool Haworthia. It's got the kind of little clear kind of glass or kind of clear windows so that the light can go in and filter around, which a lot of Haworthias will have. But I love this because even people that are not into plants, and I showed them this, they're just like, what the hell did you do to that plant? Why did you cut it so badly all the way down? I'm just like, I didn't. This is how it grows. It does look a bit like you've just taken a knife and just done a cut across. This is so stinking cool. And I would imagine if this is anything like my Haworthia cooperi, I think the one that I've got upstairs, part of the way that it grows is that it can kind of pull itself. It's got like something called an anchor root, I think that's what it is. And it pulls itself lower down into the kind of fluffy soil that it grows in. Still pretty sure this is a desert plant or very, very warm and arid kind of region. So it would have loose soil around it. It would pull itself down if it gets too hot, and then all that you would see above the soil level would be these windows. Very, very cool evolutionary tactic, and equally cool when it comes to movement as well, because we all know about like the Venus flytrap or the sensitive plant, and they have very quick movements. This is slower, but not many plants do you know that they pull themselves into their substrate when situations change. Very, very cool evolutionary thing. So yes, I've always wanted one of these, so really glad I found one for a very good price as well. And the last one is kind of large, and I'm trying to see where I'm going to put it. I think I know where I'm going to put this. It's not going to be in here. Interestingly, I'm going to try this out in household conditions, because I've got one and it's been struggling for the longest, but it was never happy. It's doing better now than it ever has done before, but is it? Actually, is it? No, it is doing better. I'm trying to think if it's the same plant. I think it is, but this was huge and really not that expensive for the size of it. So let me show you. Ta-da! I mean, head test, right? Hold on, that's the smallest leaf, and it is a sizable chunk that is going up there. Philodendron Soderoi. The reason why I was thinking is, I don't know if the one that's been struggling a bit, because it really doesn't have the same petioles, and that's probably why I'm confusing them. That is a mamei. This is a sodoroi. And I think I've only ever had, oh no, this is one of the plants that I was saying in my repot with me, I think. Or maybe the update of the conservatory, that it was struggling. So let's see, shall we? And I'm pretty sure this is going to grow as a climber, so I am going to give it a moss pole. But yes, very, very cool. This was very exciting when I found it. For the size of it, look at the size of it, and look at the silveriness on the leaves. And yeah, £19, 19 Great British pounds. Oh, great. So that is everything. What do you think? What do you think? Also, tell me down below if you think I'm going to be able to hold back and not buy any more plants. Let's do something achievable. Let's do a month. In the next 30 days, not buy any plants. Houseplants. I'm still getting stuff for the garden. See, I'm still rationalizing of like how I'm going to get around my own rules. I don't do plant barns. I never have done. For me, they don't work. But yes, tell me what you think. Did you have a favorite? Any of these surprise you? Maybe some of the Rhapidophoras? Yeah, just let me know, and let's have that conversation down below. But yes, hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully I shall see you here soon. And I truly, truly hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.